I do want to shift to some work that's going on with the ACLJ and how we were involved. You may have seen the headlines yesterday that the law, what they were calling the Civil War era 1800s law on abortion and on life and the protection of life has gone into play. And there's really important things you need to know about how we were involved in that and how the ACLJ got involved in it. Because CeCe Hiles joining us, you can maybe break down a little bit of how this works, because people probably saw, okay, well, there was already a law in the books. Why was there a lawsuit, and how were we involved?
Right. So like a lot of states before Roe v. Wade, a lot of states understood that they had a compelling interest to protect preborn life. And so there were many states that restricted abortion, did not allow abortion. And as in here, Arizona had that same restriction, except to save the life of the mother. And so that law had literally been, actually their intent, even in, like you said, the 1800s, the legislature approved that their intent to protect preborn life since the late 1800s, and then they codified that in the early 1900s. So that law was in place until Roe v. Wade. And when Roe v. Wade came and everyone thinks, okay, now it's, the Supreme Court, yes, Supreme Court has stated that you can have an abortion. So then the law gets enjoined. So it's stopped. It's not being enforced. And then, of course, we have Dobbs. So in 1973, you have Roe, then you have Dobbs, and Dobbs gets rid of Roe. And so this law gets reinstated, and of course, then it gets attacked.
Yeah, and it's not dissimilar to some of the states, even the state of Tennessee that we're in, which is seemingly just a life of the mother exception,
right?
Which I think most people are probably okay with. And other than that, that's pretty much it in the state of Arizona. But now it's become, like you said, a controversial topic. We got involved. We were there to support it.
Yes.
And now the fight sort of reignites.
Right. So we did file an amicus brief, and we argued that Arizona has a long history of protecting innocent preborn life. And
over 100 years.
That's exactly right. And the court really agreed, and I just want to kind of read what the holding was. The legislature has demonstrated its consistent design to restrict elective abortion to the degree permitted by the Supremacy Clause, and an unwavering intent since 1864 to prescribe elective abortions absent a federal constitutional right, precisely what it intended and accomplished. To date, our legislature has never affirmatively created a right to or independently authorized elective abortion. And that's what we argued, and that's what they found. And so now they are pointing that unless something else is done, this law is in effect.
And to some degree, we know that even before Roe was overturned through the Dobbs decision, you did see many states that went beyond Roe, whether it was New York, or we knew the Governor Northam that was pushing for a late-term bill in Virginia when that famous comment about let the baby be born and then we'll decide what to do with it, that states have the opportunity, if they had a law on the books, to go back and change that if that were the will of the state.
That's right.
And in states like Arizona, where that didn't happen, the court rightly holds, it sounds like, that they're saying they had an opportunity to change this if that was their will, even under Roe, but they didn't. They just relied on Roe. So therefore, we can infer that the will of the legislature remains, at least until now, that this law should remain on the books.
Right. And then, the legislature, especially in states, that's the will of the people, because, it's a closer kind of state to the people and what the people decide. And we see that in more conservative states. You do have more, restrictive laws that are pro-life, that are actually affirming life. And so it's a state battle. We've known that. We've known when Dobbs came down that there would be state battles, and we've seen this here in Arizona. But we're happy with the results. It follows along what we argued in our amicus brief, and we think the court got it right.
And just so people know, this isn't just happening in Arizona. The ACLJ is out there now in essentially many states. I mean, in theory, all 50 states at this point trying to fight for life protection, because we know that once Dobbs, or Roe was overturned with Dobbs, that it wasn't like, and it was hard to tell people this and then to understand that it wasn't like abortion laws now universally all are going to go be like Arizona.
Right.
They're some of the most extreme all over the country right now, and that's why you're seeing this debate happening. You're seeing President Trump have to put out a statement, and President Biden doing an abortion tour, and RFK saying, well, I don't think there should be laws, but I do think every abortion is a tragedy. You're having people having to walk a line now to try to not only win people over, because it's become such a big issue, but it's become an individual state issue, but we're there every time.
every single time. And we knew that, and we were prepared for it. And we are watching what all 50 states are doing. And that's, again, at the state level, but sometimes it's even city councils are, affecting laws that we are involved and engaged in and watching. And so every chance that we have, a time that we can step in and protect life, we have done that and continue to do that. And I think we're filing, another amicus brief on Monday. On the life issue.
A cert petition later in the month that will be going before the Supreme Court to try to get a case taken up where it's a free speech case with a buffer zone law, which restricts the ability to have free speech near and around abortion clinics. So that work continues on. But I also wanted to bring up, because we are in an election year, we know that many of these states that maybe have a law like Arizona, that they're not necessarily trying to go the legislative route, but now they're trying to get signatures to put it on the ballot in November, hoping to make it a political issue, which will drive, as they've seen work in some of the other states, it will drive people on the left that are more pro-abortion to the polls and hopefully help deliver a victory for President Biden. As a matter of fact, I got an email from the DNC. Yes, I subscribe to their emails so that I can watch what they're doing.
Course, yes.
But I got a DNC email this morning that was listing states that are potentially going to have restrictive abortion measures, and there are places like Arizona, Georgia, North Carolina, and Wisconsin, swing states for the election that they're highlighting because of this.
Right, and I think there's maybe 11 states that will possibly could have ballot initiatives. And, again, that's where we will come in and we will educate on those, because we see, especially with ballot initiatives, wording is key, and they try to be very confusing with the wording.
Yeah, but I'm seeing that actually in the comments, the amount of people that are commenting in from where they're coming from, and I love seeing that. But a lot of these states that potentially have it on the ballot, where it looks like abortion will be on the ballot, are a lot of places that people are checking in from. So a lot of ACLJ supporters, that includes Florida, New York, Maryland, Arizona, Arkansas, Colorado, Missouri, Montana, Nebraska, Nevada, flip over this page here, and South Dakota. So a lot of states, and that could get more, and we're going to be there each and every time. And I couldn't tell you that this is a really crucial time for the fight for life, and that is why during this Life and Liberty Drive, we need your support. It is the Life and Liberty Drive right now. All donations are effectively doubled because every donation is matched during these drives, which is amazing. There's amazing people like you out there ready to match, and we urgently need your support. As you said, we are fighting in all 50 states to defend the life of the unborn. And with major wins now in Arizona, we had major wins in Florida. We could use your support today to keep us in these fights, and you can join us in these fights also by becoming an ACLJ champion. That's someone who says, I am dedicated to the cause of the ACLJ and everything that you stand for, and I'm going to do that each and every month on a recurring basis. Obviously, individual donations are fantastic, but if you could become an ACLJ champion, we are seeing the dramatic impact of that each and every day right now, seeing how many people have joined, almost 21,000 of you. We couldn't do this work without you. Go to aclj.org.